So next Monday and Tuesday are gonna be really rough, especially if you're a big fan of indie games. There are a lot actually dropping next week. I didn't even realize that when I started making this list. And out of 7 games, basically 5 of them, or 4 of them, are dropping either the 17th or the 18th. So I guess technically I could have done a, you won't believe what games are coming out next week, or I'm so hyped for the games next week. But listen, actually there's 3 games specifically I can think of that don't have dates or they're not next week, and they are a big chunk of why I'm excited for this next phase of indie games. But before we get into this list, please hit that like and subscribe button, help this channel grow, it means the world to me. Okay, so the first game that I want to talk about is a game that actually should have already been out. It should have dropped October 31st. It is a game called Mina the Hollower, and in this game you play as Mina Navarro, a inventor who created something called the Spark, and essentially your invention helped basically create energy for this island, and you're trying to find out what happened to your invention. The spark's gone, you don't know what happened to it, and most of the gameplay really looks like old school Game Boy Zelda. Looks really cool. I'm a huge fan of that era of Legend of Zelda games, so seeing it in that format makes me super excited. But honestly, there's a lot of other things about the game that look really cool and really caught my eye, especially when we're talking about some of the details. Like, this world was based on 1700s Gothic horror, which is really specific, and not to mention that it actually is about Earth. Mina is part of a guild called the Hollowers, and their main objective is to actually study Earth, and they do this ability called Hollow, which is essentially like they go underground. And yes, Mina uses it in her combat as well. It's a really cool game. I'm sure if you're interested in this one, this is something you've already checked out, because the demo has been out for a minute and it plays really good. Now, we don't know exactly when the release date is gonna be. There's been a lot of speculation. They talked about it last week, I believe last Thursday, and it sounded like it could be out within a couple weeks, but I don't know. And you know, they're always gonna say the right thing. They're not gonna be like, well, 2026? You know, who knows? It could be a while, but hopefully whenever it does come out, they've got it completely ironed out and the game runs great. So here's one of the games that is coming out the 17th, one that I am really excited for, and it's a game called Demon School. So essentially it is a tactical RPG, and then it's also like a university simulator. There are 15 characters that you can build relationships with and also use in combat. The better relationships you have with them, the more abilities you're going to unlock. The combat also sounds really interesting. It's not something I've checked out yet. I'm trying to. We'll see if that happens. But what essentially happens is you set up your moves in like a planning phase, and then you execute. The characters will attack automatically. You know, follow the guide that you laid out before them. But you also have the ability to rewind. Say if you made a mistake or you didn't see something happen, you can pull it back and redo it. It just sounds like a very interesting mechanic to something that has been done many times. But I have to be honest, it's the aesthetics and just the entire gameplay loop that really has me interested, because it does look like something that I would see coming from Atlus. It definitely looks somewhat like a Persona-like game, which is one of my favorite series of all time. So if you have something that may have been inspired by Persona and they did a really good job with it, I'm definitely down. But yeah, that drops the 17th, and it's going to be $24.99. Another game that drops the 17th is actually one I already made a short about, and I've played quite a bit. It's a game called Force Strike. It has the aesthetics of like a pixel art side scroller, but it is definitely not that. It is in fact more like a Hotline Miami game, but with martial arts. And again, this is one where you have an ability called Foresight, where you essentially can play how the battle will go out in your head. And so in that, you can interact with the enemies and see what the best strategy is. And obviously, you can keep doing this until you get it right, and then you can actually attempt the real fight. This mechanic just seemed amazing, not to mention the fact that the story is actually pretty cool. I really like the aesthetics, and graphics look pretty good for what it is, and the player progression itself as you're able to learn new martial arts skills and add that to your repertoire. There is a demo available, and the little bit I played of it, I loved it. I'm so excited for this one, and probably the best thing about it is $9.99. So really, you could pick up Demon School and Force Strike and still have like money left over. You could probably pick up all all of the indies that are dropping on 17th and 18th, and still wouldn't be spending as much money as you would if you bought like Mario Kart. So this next game is the only one I have that really does have a release date that is most likely 2026, but it is arguably the game that I'm most excited for. Maybe not most excited for, but I'm really excited for it. It is a game called Adventures of Elliot, The Millennium Tales. This is essentially Square Enix's version of Legend of Zelda. This is another game that does have a demo right now, and the game looks gorgeous. It is incredibly fun as well. I'm, again, really hyped up for this. I think that they did an amazing job so far, but I'm curious how far they have to go because they haven't even hinted at a release date yet. But again, this is basically Legend of Zelda for Square Enix. Everything that you would expect from a Legend of Zelda game, including a princess and a connection to the past. So there's a lot that really mirrors that whole world, but I do think like there's enough that is different in this, and I'm probably underselling it. I am gonna say something that sounds incredibly hollow, and that is, it is that like pixel art 2.5 HD look, and if you put Legend of Zelda in that look, I'm totally gonna buy it, and that's just the way it is. There is so much more to the game than that. You should definitely check out the demo if you're interested, but be mindful you might have a ways to wait. Also, I just realized I ruined my own premise of this video, because I did say indie games and this is a Square Enix game, but I've already recorded it, so I'm not gonna take it back. I'm too lazy, and I'm definitely not gonna change thumbnail or anything. Just, you know, hey, happy surprise, not all of them are indies. I don't know, it's so dumb. I just assumed it was, like, I forgot it was done by Square Enix. Now, don't blame me on that. Honestly, I mean, I guess blame me if you want, but I really am trying to erase that game from my memory, because I do think it's going to be something that is going to be out in a while, and I want to play it fresh. Like, I don't want to go in with everything that I have from the demo or anything, just because it was that good. I want it to be like a new experience. Anyway, yeah, I screwed up. It's 6 indies and a Square game. But you know, you have to admit, like, that would not look great on a thumbnail. I don't think that would be something that really catches the eye. Also, Clayworks is also developing the game, so, you know, it's sort of a indie title, sort of. Anyway, this next game I don't know as much about, but it's a game called Morsels, and it is essentially a top-down creature collecting game where you play as a mouse who meets a magical fatberg and gains the ability to be able to transform into various creatures called morsels. By the way, fatberg, aside from being my nickname in high school, is also something that happens if you throw away those flushable wipes and you keep throwing them away. They don't really break up, and so they just build up in your sewer pipes and essentially clogs the pipes, and they call it a fatberg. Interesting side note anyway, but the point is that this game looks really cool. It again is one of those like fast-paced roguelike type games where you're a mouse fighting a bunch of oppressive cats. Looks really cool. It comes out the 18th, so you don't have long to wait for that one. The trailer looks really fun, and it was produced by Annapurna, and they usually produce really good games. Okay, so the only game on this list that's actually been released already is a game called Indica, but we get it on the Nintendo Switch the 18th, so we know quite a bit about this game. The main gameplay mechanics are puzzles and exploration. It is more of an adventure game. Now, in the story of the game, you do play as a young nun who is set on a mission to visit another monastery, but on the way there, you help an injured prisoner by the name of Ilya. Now, from here, the game really kind of breaks down into a question about authority and religion. There's just a lot to this game. I don't want to ruin anything about it, specifically because I've only played like an hour or two of it, so I don't know that much about it if I'm being honest, but I will say this. This is a game that I'm excited to check out, and it was up for Indie of the Year last year on all other consoles. It won a ton of awards, so I'm gonna assume that it's a pretty good game. Alright, so we finally arrived at the last game, and this is another game that I'm gonna be honest, I don't know that much about, but I am really excited for it. Not only because it is published by Devolver Digital, but also because it sounds really cool. It's a game called Skate Story. It comes out on December the 8th, and this is a game where you play as a demon. You are made up of glass and pain. You live in the underworld. The devil gives you a skateboard and gives you a mission. Now, if you complete this mission, he will grant you your freedom. But the actual objective that you have to achieve is to skate up to the moon and eat it. That's right, you have to go eat the moon, and also get there by skating to it. But you will have a lot of tricks, like there's over 70 different tricks and gear that you can get by selling your soul, apparently. And it just, I don't know, it sounds like a really quirky but fun game. The visuals on it also look really cool. And, again, this is one of those situations where it's published by Devolver Digital. A mass majority of their games are really good, and this one specifically just looks and sounds really fun, so I'm pretty hyped for that one as well. Again, December 8th. But anyway, that is it for my list of up-and-coming indie games that I'm excited for, and I'm gonna quit because my throat hurts really bad, and I think I'm coming down with something, so, that's always awesome. Anyway, if you stayed to the end, thank you guys so much. I really, truly appreciate it. Let me know what indie game you're excited for, or are you excited for any of these games that I had mentioned? Either way, I appreciate your comments. I love each and every one of you. Take care, everyone. Bye-bye.